Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. 562 puzzles solved. I can't quite remember where we left off. We finished size separation. There was this 6 and this 6 remaining there. But I think now we're heading on to... It's not a moat, but it makes me think of a moat in front of a castle. We are doing just restoration progress. We already did this puzzle because I got confused thinking I was looking at this and did that over there. But let's see what we have here then. No ones to start us off. There's a one over there. So this is just going to be an amalgam of all the mechanics that we have seen thus far, I assume. Mismatch and area number. Shows the area of a region and all regions must have different shapes. So this 3 has to be this. This 4 has to be a straight line. This 4 has to be hooked. That has to be a 3. How are we going to do that as a 2 and that as a 2? We can't. So where's the difference maker? That has to be a 3. This can either be this 3, this 3. If it's this 3, that straight 4 can't exist in 2 spots. If it's this 3, we could do a 4 and a 1. But we can't because, again, this 4 just has to be hooked. So that's the 2, that's the 1, that's the 4, and that's the rest. There you go. Brain's warming up. This has to have either that line or that line, which means this must exist. All regions must be between 3 and 5. So this is going to get either that or that, which means that's going to be a line, which means this has to go out to here, and is either going to go to there or there. Between 3 and 5. This guy has to be at least a 4, if not a 5. It could be something like that. But how do we make the... Like, this can't exist as a 2. So... Are we going to have to see either this or this, I think? I mean, because that... Oh, that could do that. If that does that... That's 3 and that's 5. There you go. Non-boxy size separation. So how can we do groups of 8s in non-boxes? We can do a 3 and a 5. Is there any other way to do that? Yeah, we can do this and then a pair of 4s, right? Nope. Definitely not. If they're non-boxy... Neighbouring regions must have different areas, so I can do that just as a mirror. There you go. Area number and palisades. That's very cute. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's gonna... Okay, that has to go that way. That 1 just gets a box around it. That 2 just gets a box around it. That 3 has to take that one. Could come up to here, except that would put a box around that. So that's the 3. That's the 4. That's a 4. And we just chop that onto there. Cool. Oh my. You must take this. You must be parallel like that. Area, region, and palisade. So this is this. That's all happy. Then we're doing something similar over here, but in groups of 4 instead of groups of 3. Could that be just that? Lovely. All regions show area number. There's 23 here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 25, 27. So from 27, we need to get rid of 4. So we do 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I feel like at least 2 of these 5s have to be in a region together, at the least. Where else can we begin? This line has to exist. Because if this is joined with this in any way, wherever we put this line, this becomes not a 3 anymore. So that line must exist. Palisades show the shapes. That could be a corner. If it was this, it could be that. That would be valid. But ignore that right now, because this now has to make a shape that I believe has to take those, because we can't add another line. And therefore, we can't do this and block that 5 in. So it must take that 5. That 2 must come out to here. This can't take that line. So this is going to take that, and that's going to be a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. The boxes around those. That means these are going to be in the same region. This has to come out to here. And that becomes a 5. And we stick a 1 in the middle. Lovely. Is there a light down there? There is a light down there. There's a light over here. There's a box down there in waiting. How many do we need for this window? 1 more, and then we get to silver, and we can see how many it makes for gold. Solitude on 6s. All regions must have the same shape. For this to get into a 6, I honestly think this is the shape that I see immediately that looks most likely, and it is. Cool. The castle gates. Restore the castle entrance window. And you got a new mechanic? Boxy, size separation, area number, and palisade. Doesn't look like it. It's just our line into that. But that's a 5 to unlock a new region. So I think that's going to be a step up, perhaps. All regions must have the same shape. Therefore, that shape is going to be a T because this guy exists. So that's going to be a T. It doesn't have to be a T. No, it does. It has to be a T because this guy exists. That could go that way, but then that leaves this stretch unrecoverable. The only way we can make this into part of a T is that, that, and that, and that, and that. This then gives options, but I can see just from looking is this. Precision 5, match palisade. Okay, it's going to be... This can't be a straight line because it's 4, so it's going to be something with a hook in it somewhere. Now, these either have to do this or this. Which one? Currently unsure. Okay, so that's going to be whichever way around it goes. It has to go all the way because we can't cap those either. So my best suspicion is that it's going to be something like this. I think at that point it's just a lot of experience playing the game has got my brain thinking in good ways. Range 3 to 5, Solitude Palisade. 3, 4, 5 is a very cute map of the 3 to 5 puzzle. That must do this, this must do that. They can't go back on themselves, so that is a couple of 3s. That's got to go to there, there, there. This has to be a dead end somewhere, as does this. Between 3 and 5. 1, 2, at least. Who takes this tile? Because it can't be you. Five, 4, 3, no. Oh, Solitude. Solitude is in play. Must remember the Solitude. So if you're a dead end, you're not going that way, you must come out this way and that's a line. Therefore you take that at least. Between 3 and 5. 3, 3. Oh, you have to have a symbol. It's not just one, you must have at least one. So you're 4, you're 4. You're 5, you're 4. You're 5, you're 4. Minimum 5 and palisades, not solitudes. But if they're minimum 5, then these must come out to at least here. You must come to there. Which means that line must exist. If you're going to be at least 5... Wait. Yeah, you're going to come out of one side and do something akin to that. Because it can't be this, leaving that alone. I just don't know if it hooks left or right yet. This is the only cell that breaks symmetry in the stage, so something going on with that. But what? That's what we got to figure out. This is going to get absorbed into either this or this. If it must have an area of 5, that would do that, but then we can't cap this like this. So I think whichever one of these takes it on is going to have to gain that cell, because it can't take this one. But then that would leave that as a horseshoe, which can't exist, so I got something wrong there. That's 6. How do we do this? All these pairs of chevrons must have something akin to a pattern to help out. Can't do that, it blocks those off. So I think this must be this either to the left or the right. If we work towards a solve and then find out we were wrong somewhere, then we can make it up later. This then has to come out to here. Okay, no. minimum 5. Not 5. So this could come up to here. Could come up to there. Could come out to here. No, because that shape has to be that shape. So that could do that. That goes up there. That can't go up there. Okay. Restart me again. Neither of these can go up. But they must make 5s. So one of them must come down. At least. I feel like there's a bit of logic I'm missing somewhere. Because I'm stuck on where I can keep building. Alright, that works. That works. But what can I do with these now to make them exist within a group of 5? Because there's 9 tiles here. So it can't be a 5 and a 4. But I can't have pieces be on both sides of a line. So this is too much stuff. Like, that can do that, but I can't put a dead end on here. That leaves those 2 at the top. I don't see where I'm getting the next piece of logic I need on that one. And since we have so many puzzles to work towards, I'm not going to bang my head against the wall for too much. Oh my goodness. What even is this? 16, 16, 16. 2 of the 16s have to be in the same region, because otherwise we have 16, 32, 64. I believe this must take that line. Which means this must take that line. And this is going to take either that or that, but we don't know which. That is going to take that and that. We can fill in a bunch of those, I'm sure. I think that has to go all the way to there and all the way to there, which means that's going to be our group of 16. Those are parallel to those. That's parallel to that. No, we could have 2 groups of 16 and 1 really big group otherwise. I don't know how I feel about that. This could be a 1 on its own. There's nothing to say it can't be. If it's not, then this would be... It can't be a cross. But let me just double check this corner here. This is parallel to that. That's parallel to that. This must carry on this way. If this... Well, this has to be a cup. I can go around the corner. I mean, this seems viable. But this now breaks because of this guy. Oh, I think my initial assumption might have been wrong. My very first assumption that this had to go there is wrong, because we could do something like that, because I wasn't really thinking about this piece. All right. Forget the wrong initial assumption I made. We know a lot about these parallel lines, so let's fill in what we know about parallel lines and then work from there. This has a parallel line there. That could hook down, so that doesn't have to be a line. That could hook over, but it can't do both. That could hook up. This one is the only one in the corner that's not a cup. So that probably means something. One of these has to turn, and one of these has to be straight. I just don't know which. This could be across like that. This has a parallel line, so that must colour in this way, which means this corner has to go up. That has to do that with that. That means that has to go up to there, and then that needs a corner. This now, we could do... No, we can't do that because of the double line rule. It might end up being what I thought it was in the first place, with just the logic being proven this way rather than assumed the other way. This needs to take a corner. It takes this corner. That becomes a dead end. And it picks up all of that. But this can't exist in a corner. So this will either... This must exist. Okay, let's start there. If this comes up from here, that's coloured downwards, that gets a line. That means this has to be parallel, which means this is colouring in through that. Then that cup has to come out to here at least. That's good. What else can we know for sure? Okay, if this comes out, it's the same logic. That has to come down there. That makes that parallel. Those grow through that, which means this comes down to here. What else do we know? We don't have any more chevron pieces to give us guidance. What we do know about this piece, though, is that while it can go up technically, it can't join with the right and it can't join with the left. Excuse me. Because of this wall region. So that if that goes up, this would have to be a line. Then that would have to be parallel. It just feels icky, but I'm going too many steps ahead on myself there, I think. This line, this parallel line has to come down, which means that has to go down. Which means that has to be a line. Which means that has to be a line. Which means these are colouring together. That's a line. That's sitting on its own on the left. How big are you now? 13. This has to take this and this. 15, 16. Looks good as a 16 group. Now this 16 is going to be shaped differently because we've already proved that this can't be another up-down line, which is why this probably isn't the same 2 cups there and there. 7, 12, 13, 14. This, we still haven't decided if it's going left or right yet. I don't think it can go right. Because then whichever way this goes, it's going to have problems. So I'm pretty sure this is true. Is it spelling the number 16? That's really cute and very clever. I don't have anything else to say about that. That is very cute and very clever. Mismatch area 9s. God. How are we going to... Is it 18 total? It is 18 total. This 9 can't do that because even if it did that, it blocks this in. So this 9 is taking at least those, and the same is going to be true up there. Now, this 9 therefore must take this tile. How is this going to happen? Hold on, can they? They can't be the same 9, can they? All regions must have different shapes, but I think they have to be the same 9 on reflection. But we can't have this many ones. 2, 3. Can't do that. It basically comes down to where do we make the stretch upwards? Or the stretch across. But that leaves 2 1s, so these have to be open. All regions must have different shapes. If that's the 1, that's a T. Then we have 2 2s. This is still 9. That leaves a bunch of 1s. Now, am I still certain that the 9s have to be part of the same region? It really feels like they do. Because if this is going to colour in that, this has to colour in that, but we can't have different colours on the sides of this now. But where do we get the extra? It's just like, how do we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles with different shapes? Let's see what else we know. This can't do that because it leaves a 1 and a 1. Therefore, this must come across and down, which leaves that as our 2. We could leave that as the 1. Different shapes. So we have 1, 3, and that. Here you go. Gut check was correct. Range 3, 4, all must be different. That has to come to at least there. That has to come to at least there. All regions must have different shapes. So we get Somebody made this observation in a previous puzzle. Thank you so much to whoever it was who did this. Our range is between 3 and 4. That means within this puzzle, there is a single 3 long line and a single 3 chevron. Everything else has to be a different shape of 4. Like if that's our 3 long line, that has to do that, and then that would have to be our 4 straight line. We can't make another 4 like that, so that would be our 3. And then how would you draw the rest of the 4s? 12. We need 3 4s to fit into this space uniquely. There you go. I think we got a little lucky there, but we knew what we were working towards. That's boxy. This is 14 over 19. All right. We decided... Oh no, I didn't even see this puzzle. Or that puzzle. I guess I just went off in that direction and I ignored this one because I couldn't figure it out. So there's 2 here. This one's a 1, so this should be very simple. Is that 9 yet? That's 8. It needs 1 more. This is 8 and needs 1 more. That one has to pick up that 9. How does this pick up 1 and be a different shape? What? You must take those. You must take those. You must take those. You must take those. That puts them both on 8s. You need to be 9 big. You need to be 9 big. Okay, so you get the one at the tippy top. You get the one at the side. There you go. Wasn't so bad. This looks a little more complicated than my brain wants right now. So let's just start on this right-hand side. There's also you hiding down there. Is there another one on the opposing side there? No. Just you hiding there. Max 7. Non-boxy mismatch. 8, 9, 8. Max 7. Non-boxy. To not be a box here, we could do this with a hook, or we could do this with a hook. Otherwise, I don't think we could do anything else to be non-boxy. So it's one of those two, which means over here at least, we have the 3-piece committed. We just don't know if we have a Z or a line. So, remember that our 3-piece is committed. This could be 4 and a hook. That has to come to at least here. If we do that in a zigzag, then we get this and that. That ends nicely. This is boxy. How do I have a boxy with a 5? Huh? Oh, a boxy with a 5 is just a straight line. That's how that works. All regions, neighboring regions must have different areas. So this must be different to the 2s because the 2s can't touch. Otherwise, feels like we have a lot of freedom, but evidently we don't. The 5 is either going to there or there. Neighboring regions must have different areas. That's all valid so far. No, it's not. You missed one, buddy. You missed one. All right. Oh. So this is what I know. I haven't found any other logic yet. Well, okay. This can't hang a corner. And it can't be too big, so it must be 3 big. Put a box around it. Therefore, this 3 can't go vertically, must go horizontally, put a box around it. That's good. I like that. That means this 5 goes that way, put a box around it. That means this 3 could be here. It has to be, because if this was the 3, this would be a 2 and a 2, which is not allowed, or a 2, a 1 and a 1, which is not allowed. So that 3 goes there. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It can't go horizontally. Sorry, can't go vertically, because then if this is a 3, this can't make a 2 and a 2, and it can't make a 2 and a 1. So I think the 4 is that way. Then this can go... How do we do this? 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Missed you hiding over there. Boxy, neighboring different sizes, area numbers. Start with the 1. The 3s might have to all go to outside edges. Because if this 3 comes inwards, that can do that, or that, or that, which touch. So I think those going outside edges, although this could come this way, and that could do 2 and a 1. But that leaves a 1 there. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, you could be there. Then that would have to be a 2. I like the idea of this 2. Two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2. No. There it is. 4 there. We already did that. 3. Who are you hiding there? 4. Sheesh. Neighboring regions must have different areas. Going to be lots of... It's got to be T's, crosses, and straight lines. It's just a matter of where. Well, this has to be a domino, right? We've seen that move be pulled before in a puzzle, because it can't go out to its other areas. That means that has to be bifurcated to there. That has to come out to there. It could make a T-shape, but they must have different areas, so they can't both make T-shapes. This is going to have to match to there or there, which means those are lines. Where else can we go? This could go down. I think one of them has to be a T, and the other one has to be a straight line and a straight line next to it, or a hook with a straight line next to it. I just don't know which right now. I can't really vocalize why, but I feel like that must go that way. It's one of those things that, like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's this. And maybe that's the T. What else do we know? You must go up like that, or across like that. That means these lines have to be drawn in. Neighboring regions must have different areas. It makes me want to make as many regions as big as I can. Like, if I did this and made that as a 5, it wouldn't work because I can't do a pair of dominoes there. So that falls down pretty quick. PDQ. So what else do we know to be a true fact? This can't be a domino because it exists next to a domino that must be a domino, so that line must exist. It's something. That means equally, this cannot be a domino, so that line must exist. That can't be a domino, so that line must exist. That's a lot of good stuff right there. So that has to come down to there. This still has options. That could... No, this can't be a domino. It must take at least a third. It could be that to this. It could be... Okay, wait. Let's do a little counting here. We've got... This currently exists as a set domino. Why did I choose right on this and not up? I don't remember. Because it's a domino that must exist because of how blocked in this piece is. It's the same as this, like it's blocked in on all sides with pieces, so that's just a region, put a box around it. So if this is a 2, this has to come up and be bigger than 2. Has to take up some extra space. That means this can't be a domino. So this is taking on that, that's taking on that. They can't both be 3s. So one of them needs to take on something. We can't do this because that makes 2 4s next to each other. So this looks like it's going to be a 3 and a 5. Therefore, this can be a 3, if it wants to be. I think this has to exist as part of a domino. It's just where is that domino going to exist? If this has to be part of a domino, and it was this, that would mean that would be 2 dominoes next to each other, which cannot be. Therefore, I think this has to be in a domino with that. No, because then that would have to be in a domino with that. This is making for a lot of dominoes that can't be. This has to come to here or here. But that means this can do something like that, and this line that I drew in is incorrect. It's probably more correct because we have this tile on this side, whereas we don't on this side. So, reevaluating that. What else do we know to be true? It's a great question. You're picking up this or this. Or possibly both. Okay, let's think about this tile then. If this picks up that, this picks up this, that picks up that. Can't be 3. Oh, wait, okay. This 3 exists with this being next to it. So it can't be that, and it can't be that, therefore it must be that. Then this is going to be a domino, because it has to be. Then where else do we get? This can't be a pair of dominoes, but you need to be part of a domino. Domino, domino. Okay, you can't be a 4-piece amongst all these 4s, and also I put 2 2s next to each other. So that was definitely wrong. So if this is a domino, this is definitely not a domino. That definitely is a domino, and everything breaks apart because I can't put these 2 dominoes next to each other. Damn. How far back is my potential mistake? That's a great question, because we've been here for a little while now, and I thought I was doing okay. You must go that way or that way. I can't have solos. I really can't resolve this in a way that I'm happy with, but I have no idea how far back my mistake is, and that's really upsetting. God, it's so far back. Right, so I know that was wrong. This is definitely a domino. We know that much. This is either going to there or there as a domino, or there or there as a domino. And this can't be a domino, but it could do that. So maybe that line I made here was wrong. No, because any kind of vertical grouping still means that that, I think, has to remain true. I think I'm going to come back to this one with fresh eyes. I apologize for the time spent in it to no resolution. Range 7 to 12. Boxy. Interesting. Okay, this can't be a 3. That can't be a 3. Therefore, does that have to be a 9? I think it does. Because this cell has to be part of something. It can't be part of that, and it can't be part of that. So therefore, it has to be part of that. Which means this has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at a minimum. Could be 8. Which means this is 7. This does have to come across, because if this was a different region and it went up, we leave those two on their own. So that comes to there as an 8. 7 to 12. A 12 is a 3 by 4. But that can't be 6. So this has to be 2. Well, this could be that, which is interesting. If this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it blocks that off. And it also means we have 2 areas of 6 here, which can't be. So this has to be 2 wide. That's 2, 4, 6, 8 at the least. If it was 10, we end up with the 12 problem over here. Actually, no, 12 is not a problem. It could just be a whole region, isn't it? But now 15 can't be 9 and 6. So I stand by this having to be at least 8 for our calculations. There it is. All right. Castle gates, 19 of 36. And we've been going nearly an hour already, so we're definitely not making tons and tons of progress on this today. Can I see unused pedestals still? Normally there's a bunch of them around that... Or at least some of them get coloured when we get to silver, don't they? And then, do more get coloured when you get to gold, or is there just a few left? There's normally just a few left, isn't there? Right, well, we'll do some more of this side for now. Boxy. Helps if my hand's on the right part of the keyboard. Size separation. Neighbouring regions must have different areas. So this can't be 4 because of that. This can't be 4 that way, so it's 4 that way. Then that has to be 2, which means this 2 can't go up, so this is coming that way. Or it could be a 1. This 3 can't go that way, so it's going to be that way. That means this 3 is also going to be going up or down. But if it goes up, this becomes a 2, which that can't be. So I think that does this. At least that can't go up, so it goes down. Then that becomes a 4 with a 1 and a 1. This is going to be our 6. A 1, a 4, a 1. No. 3, 3, 1, 2. This has to be a 4. Can't do a 2 and a 1 and a 1. But I can't do a 1 here I can do a 1 there. I can't do a 3. I can't do a 1, I can't do a 2. I've gone wrong somewhere, and I'm not sure where, so... Get all of that off the board. This 4. Cannot do that. Cannot do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Must do this. This 3. Can't do that. Must do this. This 3 could do this or this. So that is definitely coloured to that. This 6 can't do that with another box of 6 there. So this is definitely true. This 4 can't do that. That's definitely true. It's all looking very similar to how it was a minute ago. This can't be a 1. Therefore has to come out and be a 2. Therefore that's a 2 with a 1 and a 1. If this is a 1 and this is a 2, this can't be a 1 or a 2. It can't be a 1, a 2, or a 3. It has to be a 4. That 3 has to go to there. 2 and a 1 and a 1. Did I have that available to me the first time and I just didn't see it? I don't know, but getting there with the extra confidence was nice. Maximum 4 non-boxy. Maximum 4. That's very simple. 5 there, 4 there, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4. Let's try a couple of harder puzzles, and then I've got some easier stuff to warm up into in the next video, perhaps. Boxy, size separation. Well, for a 5, it gives us a lot to have to start with. This can't be a 1. Has to be boxy. Has to be at least a 2. That has to be then at least a 2. Could be a 3, a 2, and a 2, except size separation is a thing. So if size separation is a thing, then this can't be a box. I think it just has to be that, right? So then this can't be a 4. Can't be... It could be a 2 right there. Okay, hold on to that thought. The whole thing is symmetrical, which is... Except, oh no, I can put a 2 either here or here, which I can't do on that side. So that's probably going to become important. This can't be a 1. Has to be at least a 2. That can't be a 1. Has to be at least a 2. The 2s can't exist together. This can't be a 3 and another 2. I think that's the only way for that to resolve. But these two being different either means that's just how they make it so it has a unique solution, or I'm expected to put a 2 either here or both to make this side be different than that side. 1, 2, not a 1 or a 2. Okay, that breaks down pretty fast. There's this tile. Can't be a 1. And if this was a 2, can't be a 1, makes a 2. If it was a 2 there, this can't be a 1 and a 1. Can't be a 2 and a 2. So it looks like we're not having a 2 across the top. Maybe we still are across the bottom. This can't be a 1. Doesn't want to be a 2. That gets to be a 3. If this is a 2, then this is a 5 and that's... No. It's all gone wrong. Right. Get rid of that 2 that I'm assuming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or a 4 and a 1. Three. There's a lot to not like about this. I mean, it is a difficulty 5 puzzle, so this can't be a pair of 1s, but one of them. Okay, let's take it back to basics. Take it back to basics. This cannot be a 1. That must be there. This cannot be a 1. Must be there. They can't both be 3s. Okay. So, I think if that's true, what's going to happen is one of these is going to have a 4 like that. It's just which one? Well, this can't have a 2 here, but both of them can have a 4 there. So I think this gets a 3 and a 2. And this gets a 3 and a 4? No. No, neither... Hold on. This can't be a 1. Could be a 2. This can't be a 1. Could be a 2. Neither of them can be 3s. So they both have to be 2s. Is that right? Therefore, this is the 4. This is... Can't be a 2. I don't know if I have all of this stuff in the edges correct, because I keep coming up against walls. Well, it's not very hard to get back to where we are right now. This cannot be a 1. This cannot be a 1. This cannot be a 2. This can't be a 2 and a 2. It must be this. Is that definitely true over here? This can't be a 1. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 2 and a 2. Or a 2 and a 2. Or a 4. I think that still holds true. Therefore, doing this climb up the middle is seemingly trickier and trickier. So this can't be a 1. And it can't be a 3. So that must be a 2. Put a box around it. This can't be a 1 or a 2. Or a 3. Therefore, that has to be a 4. Because it can't go up to be a 3. It can't go left to be a 3. It can't be a 1. It can't be a 2. That's a 1. This can't be a 1. Can be a 2. Can't be a 3. Put a box around it. But this can't be a 2. And this can't be a 3. I'm so baffled. I'm so baffled. This cannot be part of a 1 or a 2. So it can't be that. It can't be that. It can't be that. Can't be this, because that would make a 1. How? do I get this out? I do not see. This cannot be a 1, must come out. This cannot be a 1, must come out. This cannot be a 1. This cannot be a 1 or a 2. If this were true, this couldn't be a 1. That would have to be a 3, but it pairs up with a 3 that already exists. Let me just rethink about this for one more second. This cannot be a 1, must come down. This cannot be a 1. Can't join up with that. Must come down. If that were a 2, and this were a 3, we'd have a pair of 1s. It must be this. And thus I'm really just can't see how we make this climb with these pieces. This must come to there, that gets a line. This must come to there, that gets a line. This can be a 2. But this is already a 3. So we can't have 3, 2, 2. We can't have 3, 3, 2. What am I missing? This can't be a 1. It can be a 2. It can't be a 3. Therefore, it must be a 2. Right? This could be a 1. This can't be a 1. It can't be a 2. It's a 4. Put that in. This can't be a 1. Must be a 2. Because it can't be a 3. Because if it's a 3, it matches that. It can't be a 1. Can be a 2. It must be a 2. This can't also be a 2. It can't also be a 4. This can't be a 1 or a 2. But that can't exist. I am so brain broken by this puzzle. Is there absolutely no other way to do this? You cannot be a 1. You cannot be a 1. But it cannot come across horizontally. You cannot be a 2. You can't be a 2 and a 2. You can't be a 3 and a 1. It's the only way you can do these. And I've done it like 4 times now. I just keep going over these rules. Must be boxy. Neighboring regions must have different areas. You cannot be a 1. 2 is viable. Like, I don't mind this on this side. But we can't do the same thing on both sides. You cannot be a 1. You can be a 2. You can't be a 3. Therefore, you must be a 2. You can't be a 3 either. I just don't see it, and I hate it, because we've been on this puzzle now for 10 minutes. All regions are rectangular. Neighbouring regions must have different areas. This cannot be a 1. It cannot be a 2. It cannot be a 3. It must be a 4. You get the 1. We've gotten to there before. You can't be a 1. You could be a 2, but you can't be a 4. You could be a 3 and a 1 and a 3. No. You can't be a 5 and a 1 and a 1. You can't be a 4 and a 1 and a 1. So this can't be a 1. It has to be at least a 2. This can't be a 4. Be a 1, a 3, and a 1. That makes that fit. So this can't be a 1. Can't be a 2. Must be at least a 3. How do I do this? If this can't be a 3 or a 1, has to be a 2. You can't be a 1, can't be a 2. That doesn't work for that. It's just this that doesn't work. And I cannot for the life of me figure out how, when this 1 stops that being a 1, must be a 2 because it can't be a 3. I don't see how I can do this in 2 different ways. Even though this is what makes it different, I don't know where I can put a 2 in to make it be happy. This cannot be this 3. It cannot be this 1. It must be this 2. This can't be a 1 or a 2. Has to be at least a 3. Locks this in again. I'm so miffed. We can't do like a 1 and a 6. We can't do a 1 and 2 and a 4. We can't do a 4 and a 1 and a 1. We can't do a 3 and a 1. Like the factors of 7 just don't work here that aren't 4 and 3. Is factors right, or is factors only for multiplication? Because you can do 4 and 3, or you can do 3 and 3 and 1, 2 and 2 and 2 and 1. It just doesn't go any other way. But let's just, even if we just try and do the right side, cannot be a 1, cannot be a 3, has to be a 2. 4, 1, and then whatever the top wants to do. But I can't do it on both sides, and it's bugging me. This can't be a 3. I just don't understand it at all. But this isn't a 2. This can't be a 4 and a 1. It can't be a 2 and a 2. I think I gotta quit. I just don't see it, and I'm mad. I want to solve a puzzle to finish the day, but the ones I've left are all difficult puzzles. And I wanted to have some easier stuff to come back to the new day on. Oh, this 7 is here now. That's going to be delightful, I'm sure. Mismatch different numbers. 1. All regions must have different shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that doesn't work. We get 1, 3 straight line and 1, 3 hook. This 7 can't go to there, because this 4 has to get out. If this 2 goes to there, that's our only 1, we can't do that. If this 2 goes to there, then this becomes a 3, we need the 3 for somewhere else, so that is the 2. That could take that, but it must take at least this, and then something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How does the 4 get out? Oh, those 2 4s are in the same region. Excuse me. So this 3 must be hooked. It has to be hooked in a way that doesn't make a 1. Or 2 1s. Or another 3. So that's the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we solved a puzzle to end the video. But my god, that other puzzle I was just on really does not meld with my brain for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!